What's going on, you guys? So, with the Las Vegas Raiders falling to the San Francisco 49ers 22-19 in epic fashion, we'll say, in the second preseason game of the 2025 season, there's a lot to kind of take in from this. And, by the way, welcome back to our Raiders latest news segment, Tuesday, August 19th. Hope you guys started off the day good so far, and hope it's a good day for y'all. But overall, so we got to talk about the Raiders. So first off, Pete Carroll came out a couple of days ago, kind of in his press conference, kind of just looking at the tape and kind of going from there. And there's a couple different takeaways. So the first main thing is you have to talk about the quarterback. It's not even a competition, but you have to talk about the quarterbacks here because overall, it was kind of one of those things where you got a really good look at guys like Geno Smith as well as Aiden O'Connell and all that kind of stuff because that was really going to be a big question. And Geno played pretty well. Definitely was not a liability in any concern. But I think that when you talk about what the Raiders needed from a consistency standpoint, I think he played exactly how you wanted him to play. But overall, finished the game, 6 of 8, 55 yards, made really good decisions, and overall took really good care of the football. And, had that really nice pass to Brock Bowers, distributed the football nicely and everything. And like we said, felt like he played pretty well. Definitely gave you something to be excited about heading into the regular season and just being a quarterback that you can build something with. And so that was really good to see from Geno. And so now for the other quarterbacks. Now, I got to be honest, Aiden O'Connell and Cam Miller, to me, did nothing to separate themselves. Now, that could be a bad thing or it could be a good thing. But you look at Cam, we'll start with Aiden O'Connell. 15 to 23, 138 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. I mean, that interception really cost the Raiders, especially, when you talk about the fact that, it looked like the Raiders were able to kind of get some momentum there. And it just kind of, you got to make better decisions than that. And then the same thing with Cam Miller, especially at the end there, that interception too. It's like, who is going to win the backup quarterback job and who's actually going to take it seriously? And so, it just, not even necessarily take it seriously, but who's going to win the thing, right? And I don't know. It just really felt like there was a lot of things going on in this one. And, now as we head back into 53-man cutdowns, you can't tell me this isn't going to play a little bit of a role. So, obviously, you talk about that. You talk about with Pete Carroll also talking about it as a press conference. The linebackers looked really good in the running game. There was a reporter that basically asked, talking about, hey, the secondary, are you worried about it? And, Pete Carroll has said that a lot of that is the linebackers and safeties really working together, and, some of that stuff's going to get figured out. So it's good to hear that, hey, it's already been talked about, it's kind of in the plans and everything, and so, not necessarily parts of concern, so that's good to see there as well. Another thing that was talked about was the running back room, and you talk about, yes, Ashton Jeanty is going to be the guy, but at the same time, running back by committee, there is a lot of different guys in there that can fill specific roles and do some really good things as well. Also, the backup offensive linemen, first team offensive linemen, or is the first couple of offensive linemen, were awesome. I think that when you talk about JPJ, who is in a right guard competition right now, yes, they talked about how that could be really good for, but as well as the depth on it, it's not necessarily a concern. It's something that they're keeping an eye on, and I think a lot of it is going to be figured out in this last preseason game against the Cardinals. That's going to be something to see. Cutdown days is coming down, and obviously I think that it's weighing on everybody's mind, especially those that are playing right now. And Pete Carroll was pretty good about it. He was talking about how they're taking in all the information, going to make the best informed decision for their team, and just putting guys in the right spots. I think that's going to be absolutely huge, and I think you've got to make sure that you are making the best decision and taking in all the information and looking at guys and how they fit specific roles, and how are they on special teams? Are they a locker room guy? There's so much going on there. Throwing deep, that was another big thing that was brought up in the press conference and everything, where it's like, okay, so with Deontay Thornton and Trey Tucker on the roster, and guys that are hopefully going to step up this year, there were some throws that didn't connect with Deontay Thornton, which it is what it is, but there's also been a lot of throws that have connected with Deontay Thornton, especially in training camp and everything. And, it's a process. I think that Geno Smith throws a really good ball, and this is what, and I think this is also definitely what Pete Carroll definitely reiterated as well, is Geno Smith can make all the throws. He can make throws over the middle. He can throw it long. He he puts the ball on the receiver in a way that gives them the best chance to A, turn upfield or make the catch. And so, A and B. Turn upfield and make the catch. But anyway, Geno Smith, does a really good job of that, and that was actually mentioned in Pete Carroll's book with Bill Walsh, talking about what the best thing a quarterback can do, or what's the most important thing when evaluating a quarterback, and that is how they throw the football to the rest of their receivers and everything. Is, do they lead them? Do they put them in spots where they can turn upfield? Where do they put it in terms of ball placement wise? And so, I think that with Deontay Thornton as well as Geno Smith and a lot of these receivers, I think that's just something that's really good for Geno Smith that he does put his quarterbacks or his receivers, in a really good spot to catch the football. And then finally, yes, Terrell Edmonds was also mentioned towards the end there, talking about, hey, we like him from a leadership perspective. I think they're going to get a good look at him and then just kind of make some decisions from there. And so as far as the latest news, hey, it's the last preseason game against the Cardinals. There's going to be a couple players that we come out with that you should keep an eye on, you should watch, that are probably fighting for those 53-man roster cutdowns. Who's going to be our number 2 quarterback? A lot of things going on this week, but overall, like we said, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next video.